Alright, so we are going to do a video talking about Temptation Island because I have fallen in love with that show. I think it's dope. I think it's funny. And we figured why not do a video to discuss it and talk about these people's failed relationships. So
That's so sad.
So yeah, I have a few questions that'll get the ball rolling.
Okay.
What do you think about Temptation Island as a whole?
So the concept itself for me doesn't make sense at all. Like, I would never be like, hey babe, let's go on this island for you to meet some other girls that are single that want to see if you can date them even though you were tied to me forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I think about it.
I don't understand the premise at all. I don't know what their plan is. I don't know what they hope to get out of it. The idea to me is just like, I think what they're trying to go for is like, by going to the island and talking to the opposite sex, it'll be like therapy. I think that's what they were trying to go for. Like, they're trying to make a pseudo-therapeutic experience where it's like, oh, I'm a single girl, I go to the island, I'll talk to these guys, and these guys will give me feedback on how I can improve my relationship, or vice versa. If you're a guy going, the girls give you feedback. But I think that the people, when they go on, whoever initiates wanting to go to the island is just looking for a hall pass. That's kind of what I get from it. That's what it feels like, at least.
Yeah, and let's point to the fact that the guy's island looked like a orgy place.
Yeah.
And the girls' place looks like a bunch of girls trying to friend zone the guys.
I'll say this, for the record, for this video at least, we're talking about season 6, which just came out on Netflix. Because it looks like every season's a bit different, the way they style it.
Right, in the U.S.
In the
version
U.S.,
of it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Season 6, the single girls were very aggressive toward the guys. The dudes were super lame for the girls. Like, not very aggressive, not very competitive. I don't think most of the single guys like the girls that were in relationships. I guess that could be a good thing or bad thing, depending on how you want to go into it.
Yeah, either they didn't like them or they didn't give them a lot of space to come into. Because I think like the girls really believed in their relationships. Like, I got the vibes that the girls really liked their boyfriends, and that they thought like they would come into this experience and they would be another person whenever they get out of it. And I think a lot of the girls like had this idea that their boyfriends was gonna behave a certain way, and that's not what happened. And so they were trying to keep their distance with the guys, or trying to like be friends with them, kind of like friends on them a little bit. And so they were not pursuing them because they're not giving space for that. So that they became kind of like friends, or like they would do dates, but it was like very light, the things that they were doing. I don't know, like, can describe like going to a bonfire and just talking, or like going to the beach and just having a walk at the beach, or like they were like not being touchy or nothing like sexual or nothing like that.
Like the single guys, right?
The single guys that were trying to pursue the girls that were in relationships, right? While versus their boyfriends that were in the boys' villa, they call boys' villa, right?
Yeah.
That were with the single girls. Oh my goodness, that became like a frat party, everyday frat party. Like, the girls had no clothes to little clothes, and they were just like partying hard, doing shots and like taking body shots, and like it looked very different, like two different shows if you were looking at the girls' villa and the boys' villa. So
you know what I'm gonna say? I feel like Netflix, I know what they're trying to do is they're trying to make a show that's polarizing, because you want entertainment, and you want the entertainment to come at the expense of the couples.
right.
I think for this particular season, what Netflix did terribly is the singles they got were just not good for the couples. Like, the dudes that came in were all around the age of like late 20s, and all the girls in the men's villa were all like early 20s, which I think is good for the guys to like get them to want to cheat. Because I feel like that's the purpose of Netflix. That's what they're trying to go for. They're trying to get the guys to cheat. They're trying to get the girls to cheat. Because that creates drama for us as the viewer to enjoy these couples' downfall. We like to see their relationship fail for our entertainment.
No, I don't, but yeah.
I love it. But the girls were a bit older. Like, the girls were like late 20s, early 30s. And all the dudes they got were just like 24, 25, 26. So it's like, I think the casting was poor. Because if you're like a 26-year-old dude, this is just my personal take. This might be controversial. I don't know if you guys think about it. I don't know what you think about it. I think if you're an average 20-something-year-old guy, if you have like 4 girls who are like in their late 30s, it's not as appealing as if they were the same age or younger. I think had they chose guys for this particular group of girls that were like mid-30s to late 30s, who were also in great shape, also had like their life together, it would be more appealing to the girls.
Yeah.
Because I think for the guys are going to go for fun, young, party, loosen up, whatever. I think for the girls, you have to kind of go more, if they're that age, you have to go more like
mature.
He wants to talk to me about my emotions. He wants to kind of like really get to the relationship. Half the time when the girls were talking to the dudes, it felt like the dudes didn't care at all. They're just like, I don't care about you talking about your boyfriend. I don't really have the conversation. I'm here for the show.
I got that feeling too.
Which is going to keep the girls from opening up, which is going to prevent the girl from cheating. Even if she wants to cheat, I think she's not going to do it because all the dudes are just uninterested in conversing. So I think Netflix dropped the ball with that. They picked really bad singles for the girls' villa. Like the chick Ashley, the blonde chick, the guy she ended up with was like 24.
Oh yeah.
She was like 28 or 29. Yeah, Ashley ended up with some guy that was like 24. And I didn't get the vibe that she was really into him. Like, I think he was probably cool, but it just felt like she's just trying to get back at Grant.
Yeah, I think so. I think she saw an episode of Grant, which was her actual partner, with another girl, and she got mad, sad about it. So she was like, okay, well, now I'm single, now I want to enjoy this experience. And the boys were like kind of into her, or they had to play that they were into her, and they were like, spending more time together. Yeah, I think that was it. And Grant, I don't know, I have a feeling that they were already like done with the relationship, but either of them had this strength to come to an ending. So they were like, okay, no, let's go to this island where we're gonna see if we can be faithful to each other and then break up, because then we're gonna have rebounds. So that's how I view it. If you watch the show, I think that's how, I don't know, that's how it comes off, as they already were ready to break up and they didn't know how to do that, so they used the show as an excuse, but also like as branding too, like, right, like, oh, I want my 5 minutes of fame. So
yeah, I think for the guys, I don't think they thought that deeply about it. I think for the guys, for 2 in particular, Breon and Grant, I think they just wanted to hook up with other girls and kind of frame it as if I'm trying to be a better boyfriend for you, and that's the excuse to do it and maybe get some clout from it. But I think the primary reason was I just want to like get some other girls, and this is the easiest way to do it. It's an island full of girls. I don't know if Ashley or Breon's girlfriend Shantae, I don't think they wanted to break up. I think the guys were probably just like gung-ho about going into the island, and the girls probably were just like, sure, I'll do it because you want to do it. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah,
that's the vibe I got.
Shantae just respected Breon so much that she watched that video like a warrior, and she finished watching it and she said, well, I think we're going to have a conversation when this is done and see where things are going. And it was like, man, he was just having a threesome with 2 other girls, and how, like, she didn't let her emotions, I mean, she was crying a few times, but none of the times was she like mean to him, or like called him names or belittled him with his actions, which in my opinion he deserved. I think he like could have broken up with her before making her go through all of that. I think there was a huge disrespect, especially like if they're been together for a long time and they're thinking about marriage. But anyways, and then like after he did what he did, there is a clip of him saying that he didn't regret anything.
Yeah.
And so after he seen she crying, right? Like after he saw that she was crying, then he was like, oh no, wait, maybe if I say that I'm sorry and like say that I messed up, maybe, you know, she still will wanna be with me after this.
Yeah.
Which, for what I understood, that was not the first time that he cheated on her.
Yeah. From watching that show, I'm not gonna lie, I think both her and Ashley, Grant's girlfriend, they both take L's. And that probably sounds mean. They just pick really bad people, and I think they're going to continue to pick bad people. That's just my 2 cents. Because both of them had clear signs that they're not good partners from the very start. I don't know.
I disagree. I think like saying that they will keep doing that assumes that they're not able to evolve
The guys?
as a person. No, the girls. Like you're saying, like they saw early on that they're bad people and they're gonna keep choosing bad people. I think like once they had that experience, there is a chance that they just need to be in the right environment with the right people around them, and maybe they can have a breakthrough one day and be like, no, that relationship was actually not good for me and I can do better. I feel like saying that, oh, because she was in this so long, the guy keeps doing that, keeps betraying her, and she wants him back to her life, and she will keep accepting it forever, just assumes that they will never evolve as a person.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe, let me say it a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem with them is that they come off as people who just have a really bad, like, their radar of picking guys is just bad. And I think unless they pull back and maybe identify what they're looking for, like what traits are attracting them to bad people, only then can they pick good people. That's kind of what I'm saying.
Doing some self-work, right?
Yeah, like deep self-work.
Right.
Because, like, I'll give an example. Grant, who I think is a psychopath. I genuinely think this dude's a psychopath. He himself mentioned that he had a kid with a different girl from a different relationship, which already shows to me poor impulse control. And if she dated him when he had a kid with a different girl, that should already be a red flag from the start, because there's dudes who are in their 20s that don't have kids. So what made you pick him, the guy that does have a kid? Which isn't, having a kid is not like a deal breaker, I don't think, but it's already like a weird sign. On top of that, he already cheated on her before the show.
Right.
So it's like, now you're stacking red flags. So at some point you got to take some accountability and say, he's just a bad person. There's no point in me pursuing this relationship. Then, third red flag, let's go to this island where it's easier for me to cheat and embarrass you in public at your expense.
Yeah.
How about we do this show? And then she goes, sure. Fourth red flag, after the show when he cheated anyway, he left with a different girl and then tried to guilt her about why he chose a different girl. And then she got back with him after the show ended again. So it's like, you're stacking red flags. And at some point, it doesn't feel like you're really trying to look for a good partner. Something about him or something about these types of people attract you to them, which means there's something wrong. I don't know. I think people are going to misinterpret what I say, but there's something that you have to work on for both of them. Even Chantel. Brianne had the threesome, essentially bragged about it, embarrassed her, and at the end disrespected her, didn't care at all, had no guilt.
I think she is a good person, because your actions reflect what you are. And even though she saw that he did something that she was not expecting that he did, I feel like in the beginning of the show, she had a lot of trust in him. Yeah. And even though she saw that he disappointed her, she was like, okay, well, I want to solve this problem with him. I don't want to bring it to the public that he's a bad person, because I believe he's a good person, which tells me a lot about her and not about him, because we could all see his actions, what were, and how he was trying to manipulate the situation. But the way that she acted just shows like she can do a lot better. That's my opinion. So,
but she needs to believe that she can do a lot better. I think that's.
But she will. I believe people can evolve, people can grow, and I feel like maybe she needs to watch the show again and again and again, and maybe surround herself with good people and do some self work, and she will see that that's not the type of guy that she should be pursuing. There's good guys out there that she could, have something with.
I think the dudes also need some self work, but the downside, I think, for the dudes, downside might not be the best way to put it. I think for the dudes, because they're getting what they want, there's no need for them to change. Which is why I think the girls should hold them a little bit more accountable.
Mm-hmm. And he kind of tried to justify why he was doing it.
Brianna?
But he tried on the bonfire, on the last bonfire, he was like, "Oh well, this happened to me as a kid." As was like, I understand everybody goes through bad things, but it's your responsibility as an adult to come in terms with what things that happen to you and try not let it bleed to other people. And I don't think he did a good job at it. Going through bad things does not justify things that he's doing right now. I feel like as an adult, you have to take that responsibility and work on yourself so that other people are not being impacted by your actions. Your bad
past, Yeah, those two dudes from the start, I already knew. Didn't I call that? Did I say they were gonna cheat from the beginning?
Yeah.
I think Grant. I remember laughing at Grant just because whenever he did something bad, his primary tactic was to just flip it on the other person. He's like, "I cheated, but it's because she made me feel small." It's like, what?
Didn't you say that wasn't the one that you said was a little psychopath, that he would cry?
I genuinely thought he was a psychopath.
There was no tears, no emotion in his eyes.
I think he's a psychopath, certified, because he gaslights people horribly, which I don't think is a psychopathic trait per se, but
it's a narcissistic trait.
Yeah, but the thing that he did that was it freaked me out is he would try to pretend like he's feeling an emotion, but he wasn't going through the full. It wasn't automatic, if that makes sense. If you feel sad about something, you cry. People try to suppress crying, and they can't do it, and it comes out. But there's little signs your eyes are getting glassy, your voice starts to crack a little bit, and you start getting tears. These are all involuntary things people can't control. When he was trying to cry, it felt like he was trying to do the voice thing, but it doesn't work because there's no tears. His eyes weren't glassy, and there's no the things that are automatic that you can't control. He couldn't do. So it felt like he was just bullshitting his way through it, which is it's weird. If me doing that, if someone saw me trying to cry and making that voice, they'd be like, "It's kind of weird. Why are you doing that right now?" In that setting, I guess when they're all emotionally, when it's emotionally intense and stuff's going on, she might not notice it, the girlfriend, or maybe she just doesn't care. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you're watching, it's this is so weird to see some dude fake cry and no tears come out, and then 2 seconds later, when he can't get her to emotionally react to his fake crying, he just stops doing it. He did that during their last encounter. He tried to cry and she didn't really react to it, and he just stopped doing it. I was like, how do you just stop crying? I've never seen that before.
Yeah, that was interesting. And so that called our attention through these couples. I think the premise is crazy to me. I think that's not something we as a couple would ever do. Just to let it clear. Just to let it clear.
Did you ever do this?
But we enjoy watching it, and we enjoy giving the feedback on it. Maybe we do the next one. Maybe we do the next one.
We're watching season 1 right now.
Yes, and so maybe the second video is going to come out about another. So if you have any TV shows that you want us to comment on, comment below and we're gonna get into it.
Yes, please do. I love watching reality TV, so this will be a good excuse to do so. But till the next time, like the video, please comment,
subscribe,
and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.